All right. Well, I wanted to start out really big and bold today. Hey, you ready to fly? We're going to be flying into Red Baron territory. Got everything set up and ready to go, and let's go. You know? And I don't know what just happened to the simulator. And I'll explain here in just 2 seconds. So, I just went in there to change some controls into the options, to change some things. And now that I've come back out of the options, I have no mouse control. I can't move around. I've got no camera controls. My joystick's not working. We're not paused. So I don't know. All I did is update the rolling cache and give it a little bit more space. And so I'm not really sure what happens. What happened? The flight today, EDAM to EDAK, that's just one of the flights. We're going to do multiple ones. But the thing about this is we're flying into Red Baron territory. So if you know anything about aviation history, you know who the Red Baron is, right? Right. Sadly, I was all ready to go. Everything's ready to go. Got Bushtalk up, got the flight loaded, got the job loaded. Neofly's ready, blah, blah, blah. And I guess I'm going to try to restart the simulator and see if I get my controls back. So, how you doing? Stand by. Oh, I'm trying to be in a much better mood than yesterday. I'm very sorry about yesterday. I hate when I have moments of despair. Yesterday was a pretty despairing day. Just the world, man. It weighs on you, and it politics and everything else, it just becomes a little bit overwhelming sometimes. So I'm sorry for doing a whole lot of ranting yesterday, and not that anything's better today. It's actually got some little bad news today for those of you that know your country music. The country artist Toby Keith lost his fight with stomach cancer. That's another thing that kind of upsets me. Here we are, 2024, and all the problems in the world, and we still haven't got certain medical things under control. That we still don't have cancer beat, right? So it's very sad. I really liked his music. I loved his videos. He was a good guy, patriot, and pretty fantastic guy all the way around. And it was real sad seeing him go into decline over the last couple of years, battling his stomach cancer. So very sad about that. All right, well, let's see if the simulator is going to behave. I really don't know what... I've never had that happen before. It's always things that have never happened to me before, especially when I'm trying to live stream. But I've never had it just all of a sudden stop functioning just because I updated the cache a little bit. So very, very strange. As you see on the top of the screen, hello, Henning. If you would like to fly along, the first stretch is going to be from EDAM to EDAK. Got that up on the screen? No, it's all right. Yesterday was a pretty boring stream, just looking around at Frankfurt. Pretty cool, though. I mean, places I've never seen before. So it's all new to me. So, I really enjoyed it. But after that, after you left and after I did my sightseeing, then Neofly was acting up and politics was on my mind, and it went downhill from there. So welcome to episode 113. We're in Germany, if you didn't know, and today we are heading into Red Baron territory. So let me tell you a little bit about... That's fine. Let me tell you a little bit, while we're waiting for this thing to load up, a little bit about the airport we're flying to. It's Großenhain Airport. Now, dig this. It was established in 1913. So after the reconstruction of the Prussian Air Corps in 1913, a separate Saxon unit, the 3rd Royal Saxon Company, the 1st Royal Prussian Aviation Battalion was created, for which Großenhain was chosen as a suitable base in Saxony. The new airfield was completed by the beginning of 1914 with a total capacity of 60 aircraft. Flight operations began on the 21st of February 1914 when the first landing of a DFW Stahl Taube piloted by Lieutenant Emil Clemens and observer Lieutenant Rudolph and Lieutenant Rudolph Hassenor. Okay, so at the beginning of the First World War, the Großenhain Flying Company was relocated to the Western Front. Afterwards, the Pilot Replacement Department No. 6 was founded with a pilot school and courses for observers, air gunners, bombers, aerial photographers. Total of around 60,000 men were trained in Großenhain by 1918. In June 1915, Manfred von Richthofen was assigned to Großenhain for his initial training as an aerial observer. So, who was Manfred von Richthofen? He was the Red Baron. He became known later as the Red Baron. He was a World War I ace. Okay, so let's get back in here and see if things are working. And we are at EDAM. EDAM. And it's not been sticking. I've been doing, it's funny. I set the time, and so there's a bug right now, a little bit of a bug. It's not a big deal with setting your flight conditions, and then when you come in, sometimes it doesn't even stick.
Hello, pilot. Let's see what's on the books for you today.
Transporter from dispatch. Good morning. The cargo mission will start as soon as you get in your aircraft and set the payload.
Okay.
Ground crew are loading the cargo. Stand by.
So looking on Bushtalk, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of tourist stuff for us out here today. And surprisingly, I can't find EDAK right on the map. All right, let's see if we have controls back. We do! Yay!
Loading is complete. Let's go.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
So again, I apologize on behalf of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know why it wanted to be a pain in the butt and lock up all the controls. So EDAK, plug that in, hit enter twice. There we go. And up and away. Heading into Red Baron territory. Oh. Pause. Let me get rid of this now that it's been up there a while and you know where we're going. Let me remove that title at the top there. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. A little bit heavy, 2,077 pounds of weight. Too much of a problem.
Have a safe journey, pilot. That's some load you have there.
That's a setup for a joke right there. So again, yesterday was nice. Loaded. Frankfurt was loaded. It was like the whole city is custom made. I mean, everything's a landmark over there. Never seen so many landmarks in one place before. Feels like the stream and the simulator are doing a little bit better today. Yesterday experienced quite a bit of lag. May have been to you know, all the buildings. I'm not really sure. All right. All right, we'll hold this altitude here, pull back on the throttle a little bit. Get our flaps up. And we're up. You'll notice that we're in the Kenmore livery. There was a problem with Neofly yesterday. It blew our plane out. We switched to a helicopter for a little while. Well, for a moment. And then when I came when we switched back, it had removed our rental plane, and the nearest caravan that was available for rent was a Kenmore livery. I just thought that they made refrigerators and stuff. I had no idea. I did, you know, this is a while back, where I discovered that Kenmore made airplanes. So growing up, I had no idea that Kenmore made airplanes at all. I thought they just made refrigerators. You know, so you're in the War Thunder grind. Horrible, but it's worth it. You're in the P-51 era right now. In less than a month, the skies will be unsafe again. Thunder, what is it called again? It's called War Thunder. That's what Henning's playing at the moment. Might have to check that out. Very pretty. I've been I'm enamored with Germany. It is very, very pretty. Been very, very impressed. I'm surprised that so much of it still remains untouched. It's too bad we don't get any some more of our GPS content up here on the screen, like our times. Zweiman, Gorin, Dolkau, Guntherdorf. So yeah, I imagine that since it's close to Red Baron territory where he trained, I'm sure he's blown these skies plenty of times. You didn't even know Kenmore was a real thing. Yeah, I grew up, and again, I just thought they made appliances. Pretty neat. A little bit of trivia there. So pretty. So pretty. Let me go back in the cockpit for a minute and let's look at our times. 19 minutes and 6 seconds to the destination. Ground speed 162 knots. Our track is 89. Our current speed over here 152. Didn't check in with air traffic control, but I think I don't see a oh, I do. There it is. 2992. so we don't have to adjust our altimeter at all. The winds, we have a 2-knot wind pushing us from behind at 270, 260. So from the west still. Pretty much every day this last week and this week so far, the wind has been predominantly from the west. Okay, so we've got transition approved through Class D airspace here. Okay. That was a small little airspace. Leipzig. I've heard a lot about it. You know, I don't know from what. Don't know how I know Leipzig, but it's famous. I mean, I've heard about it a lot, but again, without looking it up. You can't wait to fly again. It's crazy. Well, it kind of makes sense because you haven't flown in almost half a year. Yeah. That's it was interesting listening to your tale yesterday about working on aircraft this past weekend, and how you were having some oil pressure problems. I'm much happier now. I guess I hadn't loaded the Germany cities. I thought I had done Germany, and I did load it, but then I guess there was another cities update for Germany, and this seems much more accurate. Everything seems much more accurate now that I've loaded that in. That looks like an old Globe Theater right there. That is a pretty building, whatever that is back there. Neat architecture. Here we go with massive railways again. Another big rail yard. How did I get city? Hey, there's Kenny Bond. I don't think I've seen you before. If I have, forgive me, because I haven't seen you it would be because I haven't seen you in a long time. But if not, hello, welcome to the live stream, Mr. Bond. An awesome name. Probably get that a lot. Dude, I'm so tired of the James Bond stuff. I would never be tired of that. Monument to the Battle of Nations is over there. Yeah, city options is under just what Mr. Bond said. It is in the options under navigation aids, right? Another massive rail yard right there. We are heading to, if you wanted to fly along or are interested and all, that's currently what we're doing, EDAM to EDAK. And we're flying to, so EDAK is where the Red Baron started his career as an observer, his flight training career. The older James Bond movies are better anyway. I like them all for what they are. I tend to agree. I really like the older James Bond stuff. I really enjoyed this last gentleman that played him. I'm really looking forward to anything new that they do. Christopher Nolan, the director of the Batman movies and other movies, has said that he's interested in doing James Bond. And he read my mind. Because James Bond, they're like, well, again, that whole he's a dinosaur and men aren't like that anymore. You know what they want to say, all this crap, this woke crap. We don't want James Bond to be misogynist anymore, or sexist or whatever, And so early on, I suggested, well, if you're going to make a James Bond movie, then why don't you make it in the past? Right? Quit trying to bring him into the future. there's got to be some spy stories, amazing spy stories from the past. You probably don't even have to make one up. There's probably some declassified stuff now known about, things that we didn't know about from the past. Amazing spy stories. And so I said, just leave James Bond in the past. Do period pieces. And that way we get to see old cars and, just take it in the past. So anyway, Christopher Nolan recently said he would love to do a James Bond, and he would love to do a period piece and put James Bond back in the past. And I love that. Goldfinger was the first one that you watched with your father. I can't recall what Bond was my first Bond. I know that I was watching him early on. My folks had a Cablevision or HBO or whatever it was. And I just remember I was very into James Bond at a very early age. I loved them all. Went and saw a bunch. I remember going to the movie theater or the drive-in theater. I think I saw... I can't remember anymore which ones. But I recall seeing a number of them at the drive-in and a number of them at the theater. So... I don't know if Mr. Bond is still out there. If you are, please, sir. It would be an honor to have you like and subscribe to my channel, and I would be happy to do the same. Speaking of, let me run over there and pull up Mr. Bond's channel. I hope you don't mind. I am surprised and shocked, Mr. Bond. I'm subscribing to you now. You have no content. Typical of a spy. They don't want to have any content up on their YouTube channel. But I encourage you, Mr. Bond. I encourage you. I implore you to get some content up on your channel for me to like. Looking over here, we just passed this, a bunker. And again, nothing really out here. No points of interest on Bushtalk at the moment. Moritzburg Castle? I wonder if this is in the simulator. That is a really pretty looking picture there. Good. I hope you do. One, it'd be great to hear your voice. And two, it doesn't matter if people have done instructionals out there. If you choose to do some instructionals and train us a little bit, there's always room for more. I opened up the show with Brad Sucks singing a tune called Certain Death. And I liked it because, one, it matches what we're talking about today. Running into the Red Baron. And I imagine how running into the Red Baron in the past was absolutely certain death. And now we've had Kenny Bond stopping today, and we're talking about James Bond. So we've got a few minutes before we get there. I'm going to go ahead and play this again because it's so different from anything else that he's done before. I mean, he does a lot of different things, but this is truly one of those ones that very, very different, and it's so good. So here it comes again. Brad Sucks. Smoke if you got him. It's time for the smoke break. Let me restart. Someday I'm gonna rock the boat. I'm gonna wanna know.
Why it's a great day to be outside. Keep me out with your emotions at night. And then you can't shoot me down over the ocean. Inside, certain death. Haven't had the heart to yet. Maybe by the time we meet, you can recognize a change in me. Maybe certain death. Haven't had a chance to yet. Maybe by the time we meet, you can recognize a change in me. Yeah, I can count the times that it crossed my mind. Sick in bed and dying for something I don't have and will never have. Your best friends won't be your friends anymore. Won't pretend anymore to let you down. Try. Keep me up with your emotions at night. They can shoot me down over the ocean inside.
I love it. So, just tuning in, we are flying into Red Baron territory. We're flying to the airport where Manfred Albrecht Freiherr von Richthofen started his career in aviation as an observer. He didn't even start out as going into the fighter training. He started out as an observer. So, he is known in English as Baron von Richthofen, or the Red Baron. He became a fighter pilot with the German Air Force during World War I. He is considered the ace of aces of the war, being officially credited with 80 air combat victories. Originally a cavalryman, Richthofen transferred to the Air Service in 1915, becoming one of the first members of Fighter Squadron Jagdstaffel II in 1916. He quickly distinguished himself as a fighter pilot, and during 1917 became the leader of Jasta 11. Later, he led the larger fighter wing, hold on, this one's going to be tough for me. Jagdgeschwader, known as the Flying Circus, or Richthofen's Circus. because of the bright colors of its aircraft, and perhaps also because of the way the unit was transferred from one area of Entente air activity to another, moving like a traveling circus, and frequently setting up tents on improvised airfields. By 1918, Richthofen was regarded as a national hero in Germany and respected by his enemies. Richthofen was shot down and killed near Wassersaum on the 21st of April, 1918. Man, that was a short career. So in a matter of just a few years, because he started service in 1915. So between 1915, 80 kills, and then shot down in 1918. There's been considerable discussion and debate regarding aspects of his career, especially the circumstances of his death. He remains one of the most widely known fighter pilots of all time, and has been the subject of many books, films, and other media. Richthofen never married and had no known children. Names and nicknames. Was a Freiherr, literally free lord. Title of nobility, often translated as baron. That is not a given name or strictly a hereditary title, since all male members of the family were entitled to it, even during the lifetime of their father. Richthofen painted his aircraft red, which combined with his title led him to being called the Red Baron. Both inside and outside of Germany during his lifetime, he was more frequently described in German as Der Rote Kampfflieger. That was variously translated as the Red Battle Flyer or the Red Fighter Pilot, and was the name used as the title of Richthofen's 1917 autobiography. He was born in Kleinberg, near Breslau, now part of the city of Wrocław, Poland, on the 2nd of May in 1892, into a prominent Prussian aristocratic family. His father was Major Albrecht Philipp Karl Julius Freiherr von Richthofen, and his mother was Kunigund von Schischfoss und Neudorf. Yikes. He had an elder sister, Ilsa, and 2 younger brothers. When he was 4 years old, Manfred moved with his family to nearby Schweidnitz, now Swidnica, Poland. He enjoyed riding horses and hunting. He was also fond of gymnastics. He excelled at parallel bars and won a number of awards at school. He and his brothers, Lothar and Bolko, hunted wild boar, elk, birds, and deer. After being educated at home, he attended a school in Schweidnitz for a year before beginning cadet training at the Wallstatt military school when he was 11. After completing cadet training at the Grob Lichterfeld, I can't pronounce that one, he joined the Ulan cavalry unit near Ulanen Regiment Kaiser Alexander der Third. Jesus, these names. When World War I began, Richthofen served as a cavalry reconnaissance officer on both the eastern and western fronts, seeing action in Russia, France, and Belgium. With the advent of trench warfare, which made traditional cavalry operations outdated and inefficient, Richthofen's regiment was dismounted, serving as dispatch runners and field telephone operators. Disappointed and bored at not being able to directly participate in combat, the last straw for Richthofen was an order to transfer to the Army's supply branch. His interest in the air service had been aroused by his examination of a German military aircraft behind the lines, and he applied for a transfer. Later to be known as the blah blah blah, he was widely reported to have written his application for transfer. I have not gone to war in order to collect cheese and eggs, but for another purpose. His request was granted, and Richthofen joined the flying service at the end of May 1915, training as an aerial observer at Großenhain, which is where we are which we have just passed. Okay, so let's call that in. No. Okay. But here they call it Großenhain. And we will choose runway 11. I wonder how many training flights he had here. Okay, so we are definitely in territory where the Red Baron did all of his training. Turn off the autopilot and spin this bird around. Right. Well, I was reading. I had that in front of me. Yeah, me and German names. Well, you know, maybe one of these days I'll what's going on? I've lost control with my mouse again. That's working. But my mouse there, that's working. Okay. Wow. Yeah, a lot of the names are a little bit tough on me, but I'm trying, you know, and that's half the battle. I'm trying. I wonder what he would think about things today, the world today. Man, you are a busy person. Also, tennis training? My God, man. How do you have time to sleep? That's great. His application letter. I did not join the war to collect cheese and eggs. Brother, I want to kill somebody. And he says, no problem. Some German cities and names are even hard to pronounce as a German native speaker. So there's the town itself, Großenhain, over there. If you're able to get 10 hours of sleep, that's fantastic. I'm sure for everybody that after 1918 that didn't die at his hand, it's one of those that, man, he died too early in life. But I mean, look what he was doing. You know what I mean? Such a dangerous career. 80 kills, and but just, yeah, like 3 years. So it's too bad that he didn't live longer. Your neighbor always has his lights on. Well, do they shine into your place? Is that why it's a problem? Or you're just annoyed that he's always got his lights on? Does it bother you? I mean, shining into your place at all? We are coming in for a landing where the Red Baron used to land. Very exciting. By the time he was there, 60,000 men had trained out of here. So this was a super important airfield historically for Germany. That was pretty good. Come on.
Transporter from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Park over here. And then we'll have a look around, take a little bit of a break. And maybe one day I will land as good as he. And if you were taking off for the day, then cheers. Thanks for coming in. Always, thank you. Always, man. Thank you so much. I need to get one of those big thank you signs, credits that roll at the end of the at the end of the live stream, or at the start of the live stream, and put you and Hans on it. Okay, so come up here and we'll zoom around a little bit. Wonder how much this place has changed. I'm sure it's changed a lot, but I wonder where the original barracks were. Those old buildings over there, those look like VOR. Yeah, 60,000 men at the time. Hot. Imagine how many planes they had. I am surprised after this time, and for the importance and the historic importance of this particular airfield that they don't have a tower. I'm very surprised they don't have a tower here. All right, you have a great day. Fly over the city, which Großenhain itself. I'm sorry, I'm already down on the ground, but I can get a new job here in a moment, and I can fly over the city. I'd be happy to, Mr. Bond. So much history. Looks like this was all for, I mean, with the little markers on the ground, so I wonder if they have a lot of small aircraft training here as well still. Okay. Back to our plane. All right, let me grab our Neofly here. And I have to shut the engine down for us to get paid. This should have been about $14,000. And we'll hit continue here. And once it thinks, yep.
Cargo unloading in progress.
Yeah, once it thinks the engines are off, it'll do its audible here. Okay. Yesterday was a big hit. Again, it blew the plane out. Had to rent another one, so had to drop another $300,000 for a deposit on this baby. Okay. Let's get paid.
Transporter, another cargo mission completed. Thanks, and see you soon.
Well, thank you. Pay me.
Everything is on board.
There we go. Okay, so let's see what is available for us here. Let me zoom out on the map and start going through these. Let's set it up for a distance. 99 miles. Let's set it up for payment. We get this one here, $16,000. That's off the screen. I'm gonna move this program. Okay, we can do this one. This is gonna... I don't know if this takes us out of Germany. We're still in it or not. Oh, this takes us into Poland. That's all right. We're gonna get paid $16,000 for 78 miles. So we'll go ahead and take that. EPTD.
Transporter from dispatch. It's a cargo mission today. When you check the payload in the flight plan, please release the parking brake to start.
All right, so let's change this in here.
Transporter from dispatch. Loading cargo. Please stand by.
So EDAK. EPTD.
Transporter from dispatch. The cargo is on board. You are cleared to taxi to the runway and take off.
Okay. So you should see it on your screen now. Excuse me. The new job. Let's start it up again here. And when the Garmin fires up, let's plug that in. EPD. And that's set. Okay. Wind was still blowing from the west, so it doesn't really matter probably which direction we take off. It was only a 2 knot wind today.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
And we just did. All right. So, to honor Mr. Bond's wishes, we are going to circle low over the cities, the nearest cities here, and then we will start heading to our destination. We might have to land somewhere in between here. We have to add a little bit of fuel. While we're taxiing, let me go ahead and the airport. Potsdam Municipal Airport. Easy now. Gonna get us a ticket for going too fast on a taxi. And a ticket for not using the proper taxiway. Creek. All right. So let's see what it says here. It says Potsdam Municipal Airport. Also known as Damon Field is a village-owned public-use airport located 2 nautical miles east of Potsdam, a village in the town of Potsdam, St. Lawrence County. That's New York. What? That's not right. That's on the other side of the world at the moment. Oh, that's KPTD. All right, so I'm not pulling up anything for EPTD. And type in Poland. List of airports in Poland. EPTD. That's funny, I don't see it. I see EPGD, EPKT, oh well, we're okay. Well, I don't know where we're headed. Separator on, taxi lights off. And we'll do a low fly around of the area.
Pilot from dispatch. Fly safe.
Thank you. To get my view a little bit more down. They have so many quaint little town villages all over the place. Almost looks like a... It's weird. Almost looks like a... I want to say a golf course, but no, not at all. Some sort of training around for something. I wonder what they grow out here. Normally, you don't see a whole lot of like orange-brown plots. Everything's so green out here. So it makes me wonder what they're growing. So here's the town, Großenhain. It's like they have parks. I don't know if those are parks or not. Very pretty. And they managed to stay a very small town all the way since 1915. Okay. I'm gonna try to make some money. And now I can go out to this view. I really like the drone view much better than the other view, but I can't control the plane when I'm in the other view. Microsoft Flight Simulator put out a questionnaire this morning. When I went to go check out the marketplace this morning, it popped up a, would you like to answer a questionnaire? It's short, not a whole lot of questions. But there's a big hole in the ground. Wow. Unobtainium. Definitely digging for something. Oh yeah, so in the questionnaire this morning, surprisingly, they wanted to know of the external views. Do you use the they wanted to know which we prefer. Do we prefer the cockpit view or the external view? And on a flight, how much do you use cockpit view and external? And I use them both, and that was an option to select. I use them both. I love both views, and when doing a live stream, you know, with views like this, you can really allow people to see a lot more. So for my own sightseeing, I can see a lot more, but for the viewers themselves, you want them to enjoy the terrain and not be confined. And they said, on landing, which do you use most? On landing, almost always this. There's some guys out there and gals, I don't want to discriminate, that are really good, like RC pilots, right? Have you ever known somebody that does RC planes, remote control planes? And even in a simulator, I just don't have that knack. I'm not real good at flying the thing outside of the plane. Some people just have that sense about them. I would be a terrible radio controlled pilot. I would crash everything. I don't even do that well in the simulator operating in that mode right there. So yeah, I use them both. Eight minutes after the hour. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to remove this. That out of the way. Sorry about that. She's We got rid of that a lot earlier. Okay, let's quickly go check out Bushtalk and see if there's anything. And I missed going to that castle. I feel stupid about that. Moritzburg. You know, it's not too far. I'm just going to turn around, actually, now that I really want to see that castle. I love seeing castles, so go ahead and turn off the autopilot. And we will divert. And I want to see if it's in the simulator. It looks really pretty in the picture. Check our vector here. A little bit more. About now. Yeah, that heading looks good. Let's do a heading hold. Click heading. Move our bug. Hit heading on the console. And hold this. Maybe a few degrees more back. If you're wondering why it's so quiet, the engine noise really gets to me after a while. It's not great for live streaming. And I imagine that we're in one of the newfangled electric engine airplanes. So nice and quiet. Get to enjoy everything without going deaf. Go back a couple more degrees. Look at that. I see it right there. Cool, cool. We're gonna get to see a castle. Yeah, when I get that, I'll pull up the wiki on it. Or we'll do the audible for it. Yeah, let's do the audible for it. There we go. I have that ready here. Everybody's like, it'd be cool to, live in the Middle Ages. Then they remind you how.
Moritzburg Castle or Moritzburg Palace is a Baroque palace in Moritzburg, in the German state of Saxony, about 13 kilometers northwest of the Saxon capital, Dresden. The castle has 4 round towers and lies on a symmetrical artificial island. It is named after Duke Moritz of Saxony, who had a hunting lodge built there between 1542 and 1546. The surrounding woodlands and lakes have been a favorite hunting area of the electors and kings of Saxony. In 1972, Moritzburg Castle was one of the locations of the Czechoslovak-German film Three Nuts for Cinderella, which became a popular fairy tale movie in Central Europe.
That's it? That's all they're going to say about it? How awesome. I love it. This is far out. I love the staircases. They got statues everywhere. Wow, they did a great job of the statues. Very cool. Might as well do a screenshot for social media today. To get up on my plane. See if we can do one from see if we can get both of them in it. Like that. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Give me a moment to go over to my social media here on X and post this. Let me get the name right. Moritz. All right, posted. Okay, so mission accomplished. Put me back into the cockpit, you silly thing. Do an altitude adjust here. Flight level change. And back to nav. Okay. It's put me in the wrong view. It keeps putting me in this view and not the proper drone view. That's what we want. So many cool places in the world that would be nice to live. And we have this leg will be 34 minutes 53 seconds. Put us into a cruise, bring the propeller back. Conditioner, put the separator in. And try to conserve some fuel. Dresden. Again, one of those places I've always heard about, but don't know too much about. Let's see if this thing's got something on Dresden in here. You'd think. Dresden Cathedral. Dresden Church. How about just one for it in general? It says there's some nice landmarks over there. Botanical Gardens. Okay, Dresden.
Dresden, Upper and Lower Sorbian, Dresden is the capital city of the German state of Saxony and its second most populous city, after Leipzig. It is the 12th most populous city of Germany, the 4th largest by area, and the 3rd most populous city in the area of former East Germany, following only Berlin and Leipzig. Dresden's urban area comprises the towns of Freital, Pirna, Radebeul, Meissen and Coswig and has around 790,000 inhabitants. The Dresden metropolitan region has approximately 1.34 million inhabitants. Dresden is the second largest city on the River Elbe after Hamburg. Most of the city's population lives in the Elbe Valley, but a large, albeit very sparsely populated area of the city east of the Elbe lies in the West Lusatian hill country and uplands and thus in Lusatia, while many boroughs west of the Elbe lie in the foreland of the Ore Mountains as well as in the valleys of the rivers rising there and flowing through Dresden, the longest of which are the Weißeritz and the Lockwitzbach. The name of the city as well as the names of most of its boroughs and rivers are of Slavic origin. Dresden is the second largest city in the Thuringian Upper Saxon dialect area, following only Leipzig. The Sorbian language area begins east of the city, in Lusatia. Dresden has a long history as the capital and royal residence for the electors and kings of Saxony, who for centuries furnished the city with cultural and artistic splendor, and was once by personal union the family seat of Polish monarchs. The city was known as the Jewel Box, because of its Baroque and Rococo city center. The controversial American and British bombing of Dresden in World War II towards the end of the war killed approximately 25,000 people, many of whom were civilians, and destroyed the entire city center. After the war, restoration work has helped to reconstruct parts of the historic inner city. Since German reunification in 1990, Dresden has again become a cultural, educational and political center of Germany and Europe. The Dresden University of Technology is one of the 10 largest universities in Germany and part of the German Universities Excellence Initiative. The economy of Dresden and its agglomeration is one of the most dynamic in Germany and ranks first in Saxony. It is dominated by high-tech branches, often called Silicon Saxony. According to the Hamburgische Weltwirtschaftsinstitute and Berenberg Bank, in 2019, Dresden had the 7th best prospects for the future of all cities in Germany. Dresden is one of the most visited cities in Germany with 4.7 million overnight stays per year. Its most prominent building is the Frauenkirche located at the Neumarkt. Built in the 18th century, the church was destroyed during World War II. The remaining ruins were left for 50 years as a war memorial, before being rebuilt between 1994 and 2005. Other famous landmarks include the Zwinger, the Semperoper and the Dresden Castle.
Now, what have I heard? Like the Dresden Codex, right? Let me look that up. If I'm not mistaken, a famous manuscript. The Dresden Codex is a Maya book, which was believed to be the oldest surviving book written in the Americas, dating to the 11th or 12th century. However, in September 2018, it was proven that the Maya Codex of Mexico, previously known as the Grolier Codex, is in fact older by about a century. The codex was rediscovered in the city of Dresden, hence the book's present name. It's located in the Museum of Saxon State Library. The codex contains information relating to astronomical and astrological tables, religious references, seasons of the earth, and illnesses and medicine. It also includes information about conjunctions of planets and moons. The book suffered serious water damage during World War II. The pages are made of M8, 8 inches high, and can be folded according to style. When unfolded, the codex is 12 feet long. It's written in Mayan hieroglyphics and refers to an original text of some 300 or 400 years earlier, describing local history and astronomical tables. Like all other pre-Hispanic books from Mesoamerica, the Dresden Codex takes the form of a screen fold. Pages consist of paper made from pounded inner bark of a wild species of ficus. Okay. I don't know if you're still with me, Mr. Bond, still watching the live stream, but if so, where in the world are you from? I should have asked that right when you came in. I don't know if he's with us anymore. Hey, if you're out there and you're stopping by, don't be a stranger, man. Say hello, so I can subscribe to your channels. Nothing would make me happier. So please stop in the chat room, say hi, and that allows me to click on your name and go to your channel and subscribe. Looking over some news here. Tucker Carlson is going to be interviewing Vladimir Putin. What's he saying about that?
We're in Moscow tonight. We're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. We'll be doing that soon. There are risks to conducting an interview like this, obviously, so we thought about it carefully over many months. Here's why we're doing it. First, because it's our job. We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people. 2 years into a war that's reshaping the entire world, most Americans are not informed. They have no real idea what's happening in this region, here in Russia or 600 miles away in Ukraine. But they should know. They're paying for much of it.
Yeah, we are.
In ways they might not fully yet perceive.
Oh.
The war in Ukraine is a human disaster.
Truly.
It's left hundreds of thousands of people dead. an entire generation of young Ukrainians.
Why aren't we over war yet?
Largest country in Europe. But the long-term effects are even more profound. This war has utterly reshaped the global military and trade alliances, and the sanctions that followed have as well. And in total, they have upended the world economy. The post-World War II economic order, the system that guaranteed prosperity in the West for more than 80 years, is coming apart very fast, and along with it, the dominance of the US dollar. These are not small changes. They are history-altering developments. They will define the lives of our grandchildren. Most of the world understands this perfectly well. They can see it. Ask anyone in Asia or the Middle East what the future looks like. And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that as nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth. Their media outlets are corrupt. They lie to their readers and viewers. And they do that mostly by omission. For example, since the day the war in Ukraine began, American media outlets have spoken to scores of people from Ukraine, and they have done scores of interviews with Ukrainian President Zelensky. We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in Eastern Europe.
No.
That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. At the same time, our politicians and media outlets have been doing this, promoting a foreign leader like he's a new consumer brand. Not a single Western journalist has bothered to interview the president of the other country involved in this conflict, Vladimir Putin. Most Americans have no idea why Putin invaded Ukraine or what his goals are now. They've never heard his voice. That's wrong. Americans have a right to know all they can.
We all do. The world does.
We have a right to tell them about it because we are Americans too. Freedom of speech is our birthright. We were born with the right to say what we believe. That right cannot be taken away no matter who is in the White House. But they're trying anyway. Almost 3 years ago, the Biden administration illegally spied on our text messages and then leaked the contents to their servants in the news media. They did this in order to stop a Putin interview that we were planning. Last month, we're pretty certain they did exactly the same thing once again. But this time, we came to Moscow anyway. We are not here because we love Vladimir Putin. We are here because we love the United States. And we want it to remain prosperous and free. We paid for this trip ourselves. We took no money from any government or group. Nor are we charging people to see the interview. It is not behind a paywall. Anyone can watch the entire thing, shot live to tape and unedited, on our website, tuckercarlson.com. Elon Musk, to his great credit, has promised not to suppress or block this interview once we post it on his platform, X, and we're grateful for that. Western governments, by contrast, will certainly do their best to censor this video on other less principled platforms because that's what they do. They are afraid of information they can't control. But you have no reason to be afraid of it. We are not encouraging you to agree with what Putin may say in this interview, but we are urging you to watch it. You should know as much as you can. And then, like a free citizen and not a slave, you can decide for yourself. Thanks.
Yeah. And yesterday they did a interviewing people on the street of Russia and asking them what they felt about how they felt about Tucker Carlson. And surprisingly, everybody knew who he was, and they had high praises for him for being a journalist of high caliber. They said he speaks the truth, and it is so hard to believe that our government would be involved in the stuff he's claiming that they're involved in with censoring and spying on his emails. I mean, it is surprising, but then again, knowing the Democrats and knowing these administrations that we've had, it's not that surprising. We're at an interesting point in time, especially in this country, and it's not good. it's not good what is becoming of our federal government, or the powers that they have given themselves, grant to themselves, and the abuses of power going on in this country. So, I honestly, I have an understanding, a basic understanding of why Putin is doing what he's doing, claiming that, as I understand it, that it was their territory historically. I don't know. I look forward to seeing the interview. When I grew up, Russia was the bad guy. Right. In all of our films, all of our great action films over here in America, in the when we were growing up, Germans and Russians, they were the bad guys. And but I don't know anymore. I truly don't. I don't know that at this age that there are good guys and bad guys. We were raised to be very patriotic and believe that America was a force for good. Like Superman. Truth, justice, in the American way. Lift your head high, stand proudly with your big S on our chests, being an American, being Americans, and believing that we're the good guys. And I believe that as people, as citizens, we still feel that way, and I'm sure many people around the world feel that way about their country. They feel very proud, but the people that run things that we've allowed to come into power, over time, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that seems to be more of the state of the world these days, where through our complacency have allowed the worst of the worst to gain control. And I hope it's not too late to turn things around. I won't be voting Democrat at all. I want nothing to do with Democrats or the Democratic Party anymore. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party I can't stand. I believe that it's kind of a uniparty thing. They're all deeply entrenched, and the power has made them feel like they're lords. And we've got to take that back. We've got to take that power back and put them back in a little box and say, no, you're sent there to do our bidding. You're not sent there to do your bidding. So he says the interview's up. I don't know if it's up yet or not. I don't want to play that during this, but I wanted to make you aware through playing that little bit that the interview is being done, and encourage everybody across the entire globe to listen to what he has to say, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. But it's right, at least, to get the other side of the story. And no matter where you are in the world, no matter what country you're in, we're all kind of in the same boat at the moment. And through this flight today, we're talking about the Red Baron, World War I. And as we cross Germany, I think a lot about World War II. And here we are, possibly on the precipice, if not already in World War III. And, it's one of those, aren't we done with it yet? Why isn't this an international court issue? Why is this still a war issue? Why are we still engaging in wars when we have international courts and United Nations and bodies that do this and bodies that do that? And we've all got to take control back. No more, right? Enough is enough. 2024, we want to get to the stars. We want to go to space. We want to do so much. We want to do greater things. And the last thing we need is for everybody to be thrown back into a dark age for another 300 years. There's been periods of great advancement on the planet that benefit all humankind. And then crap goes wrong and we all get thrown into dark ages periods. And we're so close to Star Trek. Not just going to space, but some of the things technologically that are going on. You know, and one of them being the replicator. And the two technologies in Star Trek that we really, really need that haven't totally come to fruition yet. One is the transporter. And I don't know if we will ever get to transporters. I don't know, possibly. But the replicator. And through all of human history, we've struggled and fought and killed because of resources. But now that we're in a 3D printing world and working our way towards replicators, everything can be recycled. We have the technology now to turn all trash into to reclaim it. Everything. There's no such thing as trash. We've got to start realizing that there is no such thing as trash in the 3D printing world and as we move towards replicators. But again, everything in the past has been wars over resources. And these technologies allow and scarcity. Scarcity has been a big problem. Anyway, I would hate to see advancement slowed or stopped when we're so close to technologies that allow abundance. Anyway, again, no matter what country you might happen to tune in to this from, we've got to get things under control again. We've got to get it under control. We can't allow these small groups of people to be making these history-altering decisions and playing with our lives. For politicians out there to be so bold in the last day or two to make statements, whether like, if you don't pay, we're going to send your children to war. If you don't do what we want, it's veiled threats. Oh, we might end up having to go into Europe and fight the Russians and da-da-da-da-da. No. No, So they're like, pay up, do what we want, do our bidding, do what we want. Nobody ever voted on Ukraine. That's another thing about our government. It's supposed to be a representative government. I don't know any citizen on this planet in the United States that had a vote or a say in anything. They never asked us. Hey, let's spend billions and billions and billions of dollars we don't have to go screw with Russia. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I Can't wait to see the interview. We are 4 minutes and 15 seconds away from our destination at EPTD. Let's go ahead and see if we can radio in a landing. There it is. Rotawa Airport. The wind is, I suspect it's still west. Yep. Okay. You can't hear the radio communications. I've got that turned down. But my AI co-pilot is handling radios. And as we get a little bit closer now, we should be able to, there it is, get our landing pattern. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot. And we'll begin our slow descent. So, welcome to Poland. This is my very first time in Poland. My first time in Europe in general with these flights. Inertial separator. So the inertial separator, this lever here, as we get closer to the ground, larger bits of particulate matter can be pulled into the engine. Very, very powerful engine. So the intake, the air intake, can draw in larger and larger particles, which could damage an engine. So the inertial separator, as you get closer to the ground or taking off, you want that engaged. It diverts large particles away from the engine and out the exhaust. It sounds like something from Star Trek, doesn't it? Spock, engage the inertial separator. Captain. Right out of Star Trek, but that's in a nutshell what it does. It keeps the nasty particles from getting into the engine. The other big news of the day, country star Toby Keith has passed away and lost his fight with stomach cancer, and that's another thing that makes me mad. 2024 and we're still dealing with cancer. And, they made such a big deal of the COVID thing, but yet cancer's still a problem and we're losing people to it still, Despite all this technology and everything else, our medicine is still, for lack of a better word, shit. It's shit. That's weird how they put the buildings right on the runway like that. There's a Polish joke there.
We have touchdown. Welcome. Please vacate the runway and proceed to parking.
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
All right. We are here. Welcome to Poland. To get paid, we need to make sure our engine is off so that Neofly will pay us.
Pilots, stand by. The cargo is being removed.
$658 for some fuel. So, according to the words of the economist Milton Friedman, something I'd also like you to think about, no matter what
Transporter. Another cargo mission completed.
no matter what country you might
See you
be,
soon.
no matter what country you might be listening in from, watching from.
Everything is on board.
The immortal words of Milton Friedman, the economist. Only, let's put that in big letters, caps, all caps, ONLY, only government creates inflation. So in the simulator, we just paid almost $700 for a half tank of gas. Now I don't know how old any of you are, but when I was a child, 40 cents, 50 cents for a gallon of gasoline, petrol, 50 cents. McDonald's would advertise in the when I was a child, a whole meal and cash back for your dollar, right? A drink, fries, a hamburger, and you would get cash back for your dollar. A whole meal for under $1. And now it's like, the way they got things going, it's going to be $20 for a Big Mac here soon. And that might seem like a little bit of hyperbole, but I don't know that it is. Only government creates inflation. This is also what our governments have done to us. They have taken away every bit of prosperity that we had and driven us into the ground. So on TikTok or Twitter or whatever social media that you might use, I'm sure that you are seeing a lot of young people these days posting videos saying, I can't make it. Well, everybody posting videos these days, but mostly the young kids that the younger people that I'm paying attention to, and them starting to realize that government isn't the solution to everything, and the government has created all of these problems, not one side or the other. It takes two to tango. And I love posting old McDonald's menus and old menus and prices of things for these younger people to see, to put it into perspective just how much they've screwed us. How much gasoline used to be and how much it is. Our governments are the only ones that have done that to us. And we've got to get that under control too. You know, people fight when there's lack of resources, and they fight when they're up against the wall like this. You're giving people, they're creating situations that are making us become warlike again. And we're getting a lot of civil strife going on in our cities these days. Everybody's on edge. Nobody can live. And again, you put people into situations where they can't live, then of course we're going to have a lot of crime. Hey, oh man, I can't thank you enough for taking a minute out of your day for coming to hang out with me to check out the live stream. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up here for the day in Poland, and we'll pick it up here tomorrow for episode number 114. Definitely getting my hours in. And I can't thank you enough. So I look forward, and I encourage you to produce any kind of content for your channel. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be gaming, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. I have lots of interests, especially gaming. So I hope you produce some stuff, and I would like to get to know you more and learn more about you and check out your stuff. Okay. Let's go over to here. And we'll change it to that. And I will play us out, as they say, with the tune that I played us in with. We will end with Brad Sucks' Certain Death. Ugh. Hope that's not some foreshadowing.
Cross my mind.